Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another NIKKE reaction. Today we have Phantom Thief versus Detective. This one had about 40 likes on it, and I don't know anything else about it aside from the obvious of the title, kind of telling me what the story is probably going to be, but I really won't know if I don't start the video and listen, so without further ado, let's go! Was that the sound of glass breaking, like, right away? Ooh. Ooh, big start. Woo. Yeah, has that espionage feel to it. It's got that nighttime jazzy bop to it. Another song that's been giving me Persona vibes. I've gotten a few of those recently. Oh, I love the brass in there. Really high up there, sitting on top of everything else. Whew. Drummer's having fun too. Riff time. It's a really strong riff. Oh. That riff is somebody's theme song. Ooh. Okay, backing off a little bit. I love that riff, though. That was such a tasty jam. There's the glass break again. Gotta have the build up. To what? We already know. The vibes it is. Immaculate they are. Alright, so this is more of a loop. But that's perfectly fine when you're chilling like this. Ooh. I'm noticing other things. Ooh. There's some sonic stuff going on in this part. I didn't hear this the first time. Very subtle. We'll talk about that one. Get it, drummer. Hell yeah. I love this riff. I love the drum fills in that last section too. Really fun. Simple, but very powerful. Well placed on the accents for the hi-hat too. Like, everything this flavor of like rockish jazz should be. That spy-bound espionage backbone. We're looping back around. I would never get tired of this song. You would never catch me getting tired of that one. That is so much fun. But we have plenty of things to talk about, especially at that one spot where I heard some kind of weird stuff going on. I'll get into why, but that really stuck out to me. Jumping into the overall presentation of this one, definitely has that Persona 5 energy, which is mostly like acid jazz, funk, hip-hop fusion, and there's just little elements of that everywhere. I think this one had a little bit more of like big band in it than those tend to have, but that's just because they tend to have a vocalist in a lot of their bigger songs at least, so it has a slightly different approach, but overall the instruments are very much similar and the general energy is very much similar as well. I loved that out of this. I love it out of Persona as well, and I love it every time I hear a song that kind of visits this musical space. It's one of my personal favorites just for the sake of the vibes, and they nailed this one. I really love how they approached it, and everything that they were doing sonically fits really well. I love that they let the drummer have their room. That's one of the biggest things about having like this acid jazz fusion, is having the drummer do their thing and not really holding them back, letting them have some bars of fills and just doing some really tight work. Like in this one, those fills, like I said, pretty simple fills as far as the drum world goes. They didn't have a bunch of complexity to them. They were based on very rudimentary concepts of drum fills, but what they were powerful and well placed, and that is like the key to getting this really beefy, strong jazz fusion funk feel, is just knowing the groove, sticking to it, and when you have room to fill, throw one in there, but make sure you have a very solid latch back to the back beat. So for this one, especially this drummer used a lot of like the hi-hat hits where they would hit the open hi-hat and then close it really quick. So you get that choked hi-hat sound that always sounds so strong if played at the right times. You can definitely put it at the wrong spots and make it sound really sloppy, but when you have this much control over your instrument, it sounds perfect. I couldn't tell you really if this was just a real drummer or if it was a programmed drum set and they're just really good at programming drums. I've seen a lot of programmed drums recently do that very well. They're paying attention to how drums work and applying drummer-isms to them, so they feel a little bit more strong like this. But I feel like the feel here was at least written by somebody who plays the drums and not just somebody who has a vague idea of how drums feel, especially those fills. The placement of them is one thing. Any writer could do that. Any composer could figure that out. But to be able to put that soul and beef into the hits, that's something that's a little bit more specific to somebody who knows drums on a very personal level. So I think they did a great job there, just drums alone. But to that sonic sound thing I was talking about, that like weird sound I was hearing up at the high end that I wanted to get into, it's nothing that big, but it makes a big difference that when all that stuff was going on in that section, all these like high sounds were in there. He had some like higher brass that was just kind of going in for stings, a lot of strings up there as well, just filling in this space up top. There was also this constant arpeggiated scale just up and down of somebody very subtly nestling this into the music, having just a piano go up and down. I'm not sure if it was another instrument. It sounded more like a piano than anything, so I'm assuming that's the case, especially given the genre, what you would be using. It's most likely it was a piano, but like just having that up in there. And again, if you didn't hear that, go back and listen to that spot right where I was talking about it. Right before that, you start to hear it. It's in there, that entire section, and it's really neat to throw that in there. Basically as like a sonic glue is what that kind of did. Just like the strings being up there, making the brass feel a little bit more at home. All of them were kind of doing their own thing, but working together up there. That piano going up and down scales on the piano, just doing its thing, was holding all of those other elements together. It's like the super glue of all these other things between it that were working together, but if you didn't have that little line kind of filling in those gaps, it wouldn't have sounded nearly as cohesive. So that's really cool. I love that they did that, because again, if they didn't, that would have sounded just a margin bit more sloppy, especially in the headphones that I'm using that have a lot of that like even range all the way through. And it just, I would have noticed. I would have been like, why does it sound so empty and weird up here? And if they didn't have that, it would have sounded strange. So great on the composer for thinking about that and throwing that in there. Or if they just thought it sounded neat or just felt like there should be something else and threw it in there, great choice, because yeah, it would have sounded very weird not having this glue kind of sticking everything else together up there. And again, very minor thing. You really would not hear it unless you're specifically listening for it. That's why I didn't hear it the first time. But when I heard it the second time, I was like, oh, that's what that is. So really cool approach there. Again, not sure what the intention is with the composer there, if it was intentional at all, but either way, they stumbled into something, if anything else, and it just worked really, really well. And also that riff, like I said, that was like a character's theme. I don't know if it is. It might be referencing one of the characters. It just feels so powerful. It feels truly like one of those good old riff-driven vibes that you get of like old rock and roll, just like truly rock and roll, throwing that spice into what is otherwise a jazz fusion. That's kind of where that funk fusion comes in with the jazz on this. It just kind of throws it together, and funk turned into rock at one point in time, and that's how we got rock and roll. And yeah, it's just a bunch of different influences. There's of course also blues. That was like the main influence of rock and roll, and that all kind of falls in the same pocket of music. Jazz and blues are right next door neighbors, just like rock and roll is. So you get all of this fusion in there, and you start to be like, man, where does music start and where does it end? And does it matter? Not in my opinion. Music's great no matter where it's from or what it is. And when they fuse it together like this, they put all of the best parts of all of these genres into one. It just makes for such a good theme. This has got to be one of my favorites recently, of just getting the vibe nailed to the aesthetic that they're going for. Like I said, Phantom Thief vs. Detective kind of gives me an idea of what this is supposed to be a theme for, and boy, do they ever nail that. So congratulations to the team that just went for it, nailed it, knocked it out of the park, got like 4 consecutive home runs out of that one. This is a really good song, just top to bottom. Even those little things like that sonic placement of that piano at the top, just the detail work on this, just as important as having those down-to-earth rock elements like the guitar and those drum fills in there, just filling in that space on the low end. Really, really good, really well balanced. This is a really, really neat song. But I think I've yapped on this one enough, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you have anything else you want me to get to, drop it in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for other stuff I do in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!